Now, I'm a weirdo. I study 8 to 10 hours a day. I make art, I make music, I read books, I play Animal Crossing, I have conversations, deep conversations with my husband about the truth. Like, what is that true though? Is that true? Like, we've been on this journey for several years now, and I think it's difficult to describe unless you are living the type of life that I'm living. We question everything. All right. We're also in recovery. We also are sober. And that makes a difference because when you get sober, you see the world way differently. It's hard to describe to anybody who has not had that ego dismantled. It's very difficult to describe. So hear me out when I say that no, you cannot get addicted to pornography. I have some notes over here. I hope this helps people. I hope this helps people because it helped me. It helps some people that I know, so I'm going to share it with you today. So the uncomfortable statement is porn addiction, as people describe it, does not actually exist in the way they think it does. Now, this does not mean that people are not struggling. It does not mean their behavior feels out of control. It means the cause is being misidentified. What people call porn addiction is almost always an addiction to shame, not sex. I'm going to tell you about shame because you cannot be ashamed of one thing. When you're ashamed of something, it releases a chemical cocktail that functions like a drug. Try it, like notice it. Notice it. Hey, I live with my husband who was shamed a lot as a child. I myself was shamed a lot as a child. I know this chemical cocktail. I know what that feels like. It's like a jolt of dopamine and cortisol, and it's a cocktail, and it feels terrible. Unless you're high all the time. But it's the chemical cocktail. Stress releases the chemical cocktail. If you're addicted to stress or shame or anything like that, you're addicted to the drugs that get released in your body. It's a drug addiction, essentially. All of that stuff is shame, resentments, grievances. All of these things release chemicals into the body, and they can be very addictive, very, very addictive. So I'm approaching this as if it's just a garden variety addiction. So let's talk about what a true addiction actually is. Physical dependency, escalating tolerance, dangerous withdrawal, loss of agency, even when consequences are severe. Porn does not meet these criteria. There is no chemical dependency that will kill you if you stop. Porn is not a chemically dependent thing. Like you can die withdrawing from alcohol. You can die withdrawing from Xanax. You will get very, very sick if you withdraw from heroin. But if you withdraw from porn, it's going to be slightly uncomfortable and edgy. There's no physiological collapse. There is no irreversible damage caused by abstinence. What does happen is psychological distress. And that distress is not caused by porn. It is caused by the meaning we attach to using it. Oh no, Patrick, it's not all in my head, is it? Yes, honey, it is. It is. And I know that sucks. I know that sucks because it would be so much easier to deal with things if they were external. It would be so much easier to deal with things if we could focus on something else. It's not my mind, it's my porn addiction. It's not my mind, it's my food addiction. It's not my mind, it's my sex and love addiction. It's not my mind, anything but my mind. It's all the mind. It's all the mind. It's all the meaning you attach to it. And this is a really good book, The Machinations of Ego. It's like a catalog of all the different ways the ego tries to hide. There's a chapter here on porn, but when we wrote that book, we had not yet worked with many porn addicts who reported that they had a porn addiction. Whenever somebody tells me they have an addiction, I refer them to their local 12-step group. Because a 12-step group is pretty much the only thing that can help a person with an addiction. And I know people will fight me on that. And I myself have fought that in my lifetime. But it seems to be the only thing that really breaks people free of any addiction. And so I've seen people who go through the 12 steps and then they go to other programs and other fellowships and all of that. I'm like, you know what? A good fourth step will take care of all that shit for you. A really good fourth step. Like when I did my fourth step, before I did my fourth step, I was sexually acting out, hooking up with people, treating people like sex objects, doing all sorts of fucked up shit with people. But as soon as I did that fourth step and I saw what was really going on with me, I no longer did that stuff. I saw that what I was doing, that fourth step helped me see that I was creating suffering in my life and creating suffering in the lives of others. I have not hooked up with anybody since. I have not done things that I would necessarily be ashamed of ever since. However, most people drop out before they get to that fourth step. And most people get pulled away into other fellowships because the 12 steps dismantle that ego. So when I would refer people, I'm like, hey, I would love to work with you on this, but I think you'd be better served by a 12-step program. Now, some people think that I shouldn't refer people to 12 steps, but courts do it, doctors do it, lots of people do it. So I have no shame in referring people to a 12-step program. Why? Because it works. It's the simplest, cleanest way to dismantle the ego. Now, there's a lot of more expensive ways to dismantle the ego, but, we teach authenticity here. We teach truth here. I'm not going to blow smoke up your ass. Unless you're into that kind of thing. But you get caught in a real cycle. So when I started working with porn addicts, I wanted to help them. Imagine that. I wanted to help them. So I assumed that the porn addiction was real. Now, keep in mind, I did do a round of semen retention for 100 days with my husband and a friend of ours. We did it together. And what did we learn? Well, we learned that semen retention can lead, and usually does, to ego inflation. We also discovered that there was a mental illness or a delusion that comes out of India, and it's called semen retention syndrome. And it's the belief that retaining your semen can give you special powers and abilities. The ego can also give you the delusion that you have special powers and abilities. So when I was working with these porn addicts who reported that semen retention was making them feel bad about themselves, and I suggested, why not just watching porn without shame? Why not just watching? If you don't want to, watch Chatterbait, jerk off with friends or something. Like do something to relieve this mental noise about it. It's not a big deal. If you want to watch it, watch it. Where's this shame coming from? Where is the shame coming from? I would say that it's a cultural thing where men are taught to be afraid of their own sexuality, and women love to shame men about their sexuality. Look, it happened to me on this very channel when I started realizing that my shame about sex was keeping me sick and stuck. I took steps to rectify that immediately. Like when I knew what was going on with me, I said, I got to fix this. I don't want to feel bad about this anymore. Ironically, it was a couple of women who watched this channel that told me, Patrick, you gotta integrate your sexuality, dude. That's causing you all sorts of problems. So are you teachable and are you reachable? I am. I hear people. I hear people when people identify things in me, and they point me in the right direction rather than scold me or admonish me. The person that helped me with this, I love you so much, honey. I won't say your name, but my God, what a beautiful gift that you gave me, my husband, my kitty cat, my friends. I've shared this stuff with my friends. We are having the most amazing experience. And you know what? It's spreading. It's spreading. Like the gay guys that we know, it's spreading. They love it. They love not feeling ashamed of their sexuality. It feels good to not be ashamed of the things that you do. Because I'm sorry, men love having sex. Men love masturbating. Men love all that kind of stuff. And feeling shame about it just makes people sick. Own it. Own your shit and know your shit. But I'm telling you, with restored masculinity and restored sexuality, life gets a whole lot easier and a whole lot more fun. I don't feel bad about the things I do. Actually, I celebrate them. I celebrate the things I do because it's all about love. And it all comes from God anyway, except all reject none. So let's talk about this real cycle that porn addicts are in. Stress, loneliness, boredom, or emotional tension. And sexual arousal as a natural outlet, the use of porn or masturbation, temporary relief, immediate shame and self-judgment, identity collapse. I'm weak. I'm broken. I failed again. I remember when we were trying not to come. I remember when we were trying not to do that. And the idea was that we were purging behaviors. Now, look, I recommend a period of semen retention, like 100 days. I recommend that because it really does reset your sexuality. It reset mine. It reset my husband's. It reset my friends. Anybody that I've talked to that has done 100 days has had this worldview shift. I was using sex and porn for the wrong reasons. I was ogling men. I was lusting after men. I was doing things and I felt bad for it. I felt ashamed of it. But on the other side of it, I don't feel ashamed about looking at a hot guy. I mean, hot guys are hot, right? I don't feel shame for having desires. I don't feel shame about watching porn or masturbating or having sex or any of that. I don't feel shame over that. So the cocktail that I used to be addicted to is gone. The funny thing is, you're supposed to get more focus and more drive on semen retention than if you are ejaculating frequently. But we found the opposite. Like being comfortable and being present and owning your desire and really enjoying the life that you're living has led to more focus and enjoyment. It really has. But see, I'll actually go through this shit. I will go through it to get to know the answers. I'm obsessed with knowing shit. I'm obsessed with knowing the truth about stuff. So that cycle, the emotional pressure builds and repeat. Like if you're a man and you're married to a woman who hates the fact that you watch porn, I don't know what to do for you. I don't know. In my case, I had to have a talk with my husband. I had to have a very difficult talk with my husband. And I told him, look, I got to go on this restoration, sexual integration journey. I'm not going to cheat on you. I'm not going to do anything that is going to be considered cheating, but I do need to talk to some people. I want to chat with some people who are sexually free. I want to chat with some people who aren't ashamed. I want to talk to some people who are free and open with their sexuality. And I want to talk to them in an intimate way. I want to know what they know that I could possibly know. And he gave his blessing and permission. And he said, honey, I want you to heal. I want you to heal. And I told him and I promised him, okay, so I will share what I learned with you and with other people. And it has made our marriage stronger and better. And we enjoy being around each other because we're not ashamed of anything. We're not hiding anything. We're not covering anything up. And we discovered that shame is the thing that breaks up marriages, that breaks up families, that breaks things up. And so sex is one of those things where it is the most powerfully satisfying experience a human being can have. I mean, Eckhart Tolle talks about it. It is the most satisfying experience that you can have. And the fact that there is so much shame and terror and fear surrounding it, it denies people that most satisfying experience in their lives. Now, people will project onto the stuff that I say. They will. Like sometimes I can't even get a word in edgewise or talk about the things that I've researched or experienced before people judge what I'm saying. But when I tell you that shame is the actual addictive substance, if porn were the problem, removing it would solve the issue. But that rarely happens. What actually happens is people white knuckle abstinence, go on any semen retention YouTube video, and you will see men are struggling. They're struggling. They become hyper-focused on not relapsing. They obsess more than before. The desire intensifies, the shame deepens. Because shame is stimulating to the nervous system. It creates intensity, urgency, and self-focus. Shame becomes the drug. The ritual of failure, confession, and self-loathing becomes familiar, predictable, almost comforting in a twisted way. That is why people get hooked on the shame. That's what they get hooked on. That cycle, failure, confession, and self-loathing. Now, how do I know this? Well, gosh, how much time do you have? How much time do you have? I've worked with lots and lots of men in recovery, and I've worked with men helping them with these types of issues of shame. And I've had many, many conversations. So let me tell you, the ego is so pernicious and it will hide that I know men who go to a variety of different 12-step meetings, and they're always busy. They have no time to hang out. They have no time to enjoy their life. They're afraid of living their motherfucking life. So they'll be in AA, NA, ACA, SLAA, Sex A, SA, like all these A's. And I'm like, why don't you just relax and have some fun? Because men are taught to be afraid of their own sexuality and that they can't control it, that the male sex drive is uncontrollable and it is dangerous. That only happens in feminized men or weak men or men who were never taught how to control it or how to appreciate it. I love my erotic and sexual energy. It's not out of control for me. It's in its proper place. It's a part of me all the time. I'm not ashamed of it. I'm not ashamed of it at all. And you know what? I get along with people better now too. I get along with people a lot better than I used to when I was ashamed all the time. Like, man, I don't know strangers all that much. Like I when I walk into stores, I'm like, hey, I don't know strangers, but with a restored masculinity and a restored sexuality, I know it's like I already know everybody. It's like I'm connected to something greater than myself. And on semen retention, they would say that women become attractive to you, men are attracted, but I'm experiencing the same thing, not on it. And here's something I do want to impress upon you. Please find out for yourself. Please find out for yourself. So the cultural trap that no one talks about, it sexualizes everything. This culture sexualizes everything. Then it punishes people for responding sexually. You are surrounded by sexual imagery, suggestion, and stimulation while being told that wanting it makes you weak, perverse, or immoral. This creates an internal conflict, and conflict creates compulsive behavior. Oh my God, Patrick, that sucks. That sucks. Look, every time we get a text message from somebody in our families, we are at the store getting snacks. So over time, we notice this. Like, I don't snack. I don't have no interest in snacking or eating things that are not good for me. But if we get a text, because our family wants to be in conflict with us, because the ego craves conflict. The ego needs conflict. So as sober people, we have withdrawn from that conflict, and our family members want to keep that conflict going because it's just the ego that wants it. But we can often forget that you're no match for this stuff. You are absolutely no match for this stuff. And so we find ourselves like getting candy and chips and stuff whenever we get a text or a phone call from a family member. A conflict creates that compulsive behavior. And you cannot constantly tell someone their desires are dangerous and then be surprised when those desires become distorted. Can I say that again? You cannot constantly tell someone their desires are dangerous and then be surprised when those desires become distorted. Repression does not eliminate sexuality, it warps it. So when I started talking about men and masculinity, it made some of the women in my audience feel some type of way. And I said, you know what? I'm going to really do this. I'm going to really research this. I'm going to really find out for myself. I'm going to go through the experience of understanding masculinity, masculine sexuality, and what it means to be a man. I'm actually going to go through the fucking thing. I didn't have a mentor. I didn't have a guide. Well, I had a collection of them, actually. I didn't have one single mentor, but I had to experience it. You know, even though I don't call myself a shaman anymore, I also had to go through a shamanic initiation and a shamanic death and all that kind of stuff. When you go through it, you gain the experience. Words do not teach. I encourage every man hearing this, go through it. It's scary. It's painful. It's disturbing. It's uncomfortable. I felt like my skin was going to come off my body sometimes. Ask my husband. He saw me go through it. But you know what my husband did? He went and got me food. He kept going to work. He gave me lots of time to be alone. He gave me permission to explore it. I mean, when you have somebody like that in your life, treasure it. I am so grateful for him because he knew enough about this topic. He knew that he was going to get a better version of me on the other side of it. He's not our sexuality was distorted. Thank you. Our sexuality had been distorted, especially in early recovery. Okay. Many people in early recovery might put their sexuality in a box. They might do that. It's common because feelings, bro, feelings, but owning it. Like, yes, I am a horny gay guy. And you know what? That's okay. Hey, are you a horny straight guy? It's okay. Men are supposed to be horny. Men are supposed to be horny. Otherwise, there'd be no fucking sex at all. Have you ever heard of the term lesbian bed death? It's when lesbians get together and they stop having sex. Women need the male sex drive. They do. It's yin and yang, sun and moon. So when women shame men for having a high sex drive, they are trying to control men. And it's always self-destructive. Like when I was raised in the 80s and the 90s and the 2000s, it was just known that men like to have sex. But see, a repressed sexuality gets distorted. And as soon as people started repressing men and the male sex drive, you get all sorts of crazy, weird fucking shit. And you know what I'm talking about. Furries, gooning, tentacle, hentai, all that stuff. If you repress the man's natural sex drive for females or even other men, if you repress that, it's still going to crop up, but it'll look differently. It's a very unhealthy culture. Look at this shit. Who's going to clean this shit up? It needs to be cleaned up. Who's going to clean this shit up? Well, it starts with you. Starts with me. I mean, people are really, really suffering because of this, and they don't even really have to. I remember there was a guy that I was helping, and he told me that he could not get turned on unless he saw a bunch of rapid fire pornographic images. Like every 2 seconds it had to switch. I'd never heard that before. I wasn't in the gooner or the subculture or anything like that at that time. But I was like, that's so sad. I'm like, instead of watching porn, why not watch Chatterbait? Watch real people. Watch real people. Demystify it for yourself. Watch people who are free and open with their own body. Like, do it. Many days I have Chatterbait on an extra screen. People are beautiful. People's sexualities are beautiful, male and female. Some people might think it's weird. Merrick never thought it was weird. He understood. People are beautiful. I am not ashamed of this anymore. But when I got married and I got sober, I put all that shit away, and it damn near killed me. All right. It's okay to look at beautiful people or not so beautiful people. Your sexuality is not something you should be ashamed of at all. If you are ashamed of it, it creates blockages in the body. You get IBS. You get cancer. You get all these things. Release that energy. And our new album is all about that, about releasing shame, fear around male sexuality. So the real question that no one wants to ask is this: how do I stop watching porn? Well, why would you want to stop? Ooh, that's the real question. Did someone tell you it was bad? Did someone tell you it was shameful? Did someone tell you that it exploited people, that it exploited women, that it was trafficking or any of that kind of stuff? Did somebody make you feel shame for it? Now, I'm not going to get into all the moral gray area about porn, okay? But there are a lot of industries that exploit people, and we don't have a come apart about that either. But I think it's also the overvaluation of your body and your sexuality. Everybody has a dick. Well, every man has a dick. Every woman has a pussy. It's not special. It's not unique. It really isn't. And I think this Puritan overvaluation of it is leading to a lot of shame. It leads to a lot of shame. I love being naked and being naked around other people. It feels so good because nobody's putting on any hairs. Like I can't describe it. It's the most freeing thing ever. And I think getting naked with your friends is great. I think it is. Like some of the guys that I know now are like, we're fine being naked. It's not like we sit around being naked, but it's really not that big of a deal. So the real question is, what am I trying to avoid feeling when I reach for it? Usually so let me talk about that projection. Being naked with people is not sexual at all. It doesn't have to be. And one of the reasons why I encourage people to be naked with each other is because most people only get naked with other people if they're about to have sex. So in many ways, it desexualizes the naked male body. So usually the answer when people reach for porn is loneliness, insecurity, emotional disconnection, lack of intimacy, fear of rejection, boredom, lack of purpose. So porn is a symptom. It's not a cause. And when you address the underlying emotional starvation, the behavior loses its grip naturally. Do you hear what I'm saying to you? When you address the underlying emotional starvation, the behavior loses its grip naturally. I will not share my techniques on how I help people with this. I won't, because it's different for every person. It's different for every person that I've helped with this. It's different. For some people, it's right direct to it. And for other people, it is a little bit of a labyrinth. It's a little bit of a labyrinth. But at the end of it, I am just a man who has gone through it. And I am helping other men go through it. It's what a ritual elder does. You know, your father should have taught you this. The elders in your tribe should have taught you this, but they didn't. They didn't. Men have been helping other men with this for thousands and thousands of years. It's not therapy. It's not even like, hey, bro, you got this going on? I got this going on. I had this going on. I had this going on. It's not there. It's friends helping friends. It's bros helping bros. And that's what this is all about. It is a sacred brotherhood of men who have passed down this knowledge from man to man to man to man to man. And gay men in particular carry that masculine principle throughout time because we don't submit to women. We do not submit to women. And I've said this before, that if it weren't for gay men and women, one gender, one sex would dominate the other. There needs to be an element of men who love men. There needs to be an element of women who love women to prevent authoritarianism, to prevent monarch rule. It's precisely why churches are against it, because homosexuality is that grit that keeps human sexuality from being ruled. They still try to rule it though. So shame can keep you stuck because it creates the illusion of morality, but it actually removes responsibility. If you believe you are broken, you stop believing you have a choice. Oh my gosh. Isn't that great? If you believe you are broken, you stop believing you have a choice. If you believe you are addicted, you stop examining your behavior honestly. I love this. I love this because I know what an addiction is. I know what a compulsive behavior it is. And people say that technology is addictive. No, when you clear up the ego and all, you don't get addicted to shit anymore. Things are not addictive to you. You start to realize where your compulsions come from. Like in our case, when we realize our compulsions come from conflict. So if you believe you are addicted to something, you focus on not doing that something, and you don't focus on the real culprit, which is your mind. Shame says, I can't help it. Responsibility says, I can choose differently once I understand what I am doing. Oh my gosh. I can choose differently once I understand what I am doing. So like in that example I gave about us going to get snacks every time we got a text or a call from a family member, we started to see, oh, this is just ego shit. It's ego. And I can not choose to get Nutter Butters. I can choose to not do that because I know it's not about the Nutter Butters. It's about the ego. It's about the mind. It's about the conflict. Look, we're probably never going to clear up the conflict that we have with our families because it takes two to want to work on that conflict. And we're the only ones who want to clear anything up. So you do have to accept that sometimes people are going to be unconscious. They're going to be unconscious. They're going to trigger you. They're going to upset you, but you could choose differently. You have the choice to choose differently once you understand what you're doing. Now, shame does not lead to, shame is slavery. Okay. Shame is slavery. Responsibility is, oh, I don't have to watch porn 3 hours a day because it's a choice that I'm making. It's not compulsive. I wonder how many gooners out there live in high conflict situations, like with a bitch wife or a bitch husband or a bitter, mean, angry parents. I bet you every gooner or baiter out there who can't stop doing it. There's a lot of guys that can do it, that choose to do it. My husband and I choose to have these long ass sessions with each other. We could choose to do it, but it's something that we're not addicted to it. But I know that there are guys out there who are under the delusion they can't not do it. They can't choose. When you choose to engage with sex and sexuality, it's not a compulsion. You're choosing. That's responsibility. Shame will lead to compulsion. So I want to talk about what healing actually looks like. All right. So healing does not mean never watching porn again. Healing means removing the moral panic from sexuality. It means being honest about your desire. It means understanding emotional triggers. It means releasing self-hatred. It means rebuilding trust with your body. When shame dissolves, compulsion fades, not because you forced it to stop, but because it no longer serves a purpose. So one thing, when the shame in my body disappeared, I lost weight naturally. Like I just stopped being hungry for food. I had set a goal that I was going to lose weight, and I just continued working on releasing shame and integrating and all of that. Shame dissolves, compulsion fades. I don't do many things compulsively anymore. I don't have those types of compulsions. If I do find myself having compulsions, it's usually because I was hanging out with somebody who was miserable or who was lying or who was trying to shame me for something. It's hard to describe for people. You don't want to hang out with a lot of people who shame you or cause you shame because they're trying to kill you. So here's what I want to finally say about this. People are not addicted to porn. They are addicted to the story that something is wrong with them. And when that story collapses, so does the cycle. What remains is a person learning to relate to their body without fear, punishment, or fantasy of being fixed. And that's where the freedom begins. Look, if you think you're addicted to porn, there is nothing wrong with you. But you may not actually be addicted to porn. You may be addicted to the shame cycle. So my way of dealing with it is to just stop being ashamed of it. Just stop being ashamed of it. Own it. Talk to other people who are not ashamed of it. I mean, thank God I'm gay and I have access to communities where people are not ashamed of their sexuality. I don't know if straight men have that ability, but there are websites out there that you can go to and learn to not be ashamed of yourself. I'm not going to say them by name, but you can go to places. If you don't want to feel ashamed about anything, talk to people who are not ashamed about anything. If you have an addiction to something, go get treatment for it. Do not listen to YouTube mofos about any of this shit. Hey, don't even listen to me. I'm just telling you what I've learned by working with this. And after all of the research and all of the experience, I'm not special and I'm not unique. And no, I think porn addiction and being addicted to porn is a cockamamie idea. I think having specific addictions to things is cockamamie because the addiction comes from the ego. And that's the only thing that anybody ever needs to focus on in this work at all. I love you guys so very, very much. Thank you for joining me for this episode of The Patrick Show, and I hope it helped you. I really hope it helped you. Mwah.
Been found guilty without a trial. They will smear you with rumors, paint you with lies. So don't bow down.